back to CityLine. We are indeed in our final fabulous segment. And with me right now is somebody, you know how much I love him. I'm talking about Chris Surface, who is the managing artistic director of our beloved Tacoma Little Theater. How are you, my friend?
I am doing well, Amanda. It's wonderful to see and hear you.
It's good to see you. And gosh, thanks for the little preview of the office there. You guys are doing some great stuff. So speaking of the physical space, Pierce County is entering phase 2. So what does that mean for performing arts venues like Tacoma Little Theater?
We can go and sit at a restaurant and talk about shows at 50% capacity.
Oh, no.
It doesn't, for us right now, the reality of our situation is we really won't be presenting again until phase 4. Just with the physical distancing involved, and also when it's right and safe to bring our patrons and our casts and crews back, along with our staff. The reality is probably fall at the earliest, but there's a lot of talk within the theater community across the nation that a lot of us won't be producing until next year, probably.
Wow. So the answer to the question of when do you think you'll be back producing live events is end of the year, if not first of the year. We
are crossing our fingers for the fall. We hope the fall. But a lot of that depends on what we find out in the next coming weeks and months on how we can best present our normal type of shows to our patrons. If it means we find some new and different programming ideas, we may be doing that. We're open to all options right now to make sure that we are still a part of our thriving Tacoma arts community.
Well, I think, you have been so creative. Fred Jones, my producer, and I were talking off the air about just how that word pivot that everybody is using that we all don't like, but truly, Tacoma Little Theater, you and your team, on a dime, you didn't miss a beat. Now I have to ask the question, no pressure, what about summer camp enrollment? How are you handling that?
The great thing with summer camp is Nana Curley, our education director, has been working tirelessly figuring out what will we do. And we've moved to a weekly virtual camp versus our normal 4-week in-person day camp. We've now kind of served up a theater buffet where each week there's 5 different classes that students can select the ones they would like to do. Some of them have online performance components at the end. Some of them are just building their own personal skill sets, how to be a better singer, how to be a better monologue artist, how to be a better auditioner, how to know how to sing and why we sing. So we've got some dynamic instructors over the course of those. The first session is 4 week-long chunks, and then we'll do another section of 4 week-long chunks for a total of 8 weeks throughout the course of summer for students to be a part of. And all that information, I'm sure that they're probably scrolling by on people's screen right now. It's all up on our website and our Facebook page, and you can find out how you can enroll your student and even take some classes with your student, because there's some opportunities for adults this summer too who'd like to be involved in our classes.
Oh, I was waiting for the adults, because that's something that is unique to Tacoma Little Theater is to be able to have your child learn in the other room, but then you get to work on, I used to act in high school. Is it still there?
We've had so much fun. In the spring, we were doing some spring online classes, and we were also doing adult classes, but we were doing tap classes, and people were having a blast with the online tap classes.
I love that. Boy, people love tap. So on your website, I love what it says. We are currently on a brief intermission, but visit us online to find out about our many virtual activities. So during this brief intermission, what other activities have you and your brilliant team thought up?
We have continued to program live since March. So we've been having weekly Friday night sessions where we do 2 things. We started with a Q&A town hall format where we would take an actor and a director, choreographer, somebody from the production side, and open it up for people to come and ask them questions, find out what it's like to be a part of the performing arts community. And we did that for, I think, 9 of them, if I remember correctly. And then we, just this last week, switched to one we're calling Castmates, where we're reuniting casts from shows that there were some audience favorite shows, and those casts get to talk with the audience about their experiences in producing that show, why they made some of the choices they did, and what it was like being part of one of the audience members' favorite shows. So we started with Second Samuel, which was a blast to have that cast come back, and that was a show that I had directed, so it was wonderful to see all those wonderful faces again and hear from our patrons. And then on Friday, June 12th at 7 p.m., our next castmates is The Complete Works of William Shakespeare, Abridged, Revised, with 2 casts of Complete Works attending, along with Susie Wilhoff, the director of that. So tune in on either our Facebook page or via the Zoom link on our website to experience what it's like to ask those actors what's going on.
Okay, I'm trying to get the laughter out before I have to talk. One of my favorite shows at TLT is The Complete Works of Shakespeare, Unabridged. I mean, I swear I wore out my seat. I was working there then, but that was Susie Wilhoff, incredible. And this is just kind of like, you know, if you could talk to the brilliant actors of Schitt's Creek and say, what did you do? Or people from Parks and Rec or The Office. This is a brilliant idea, Chris. Who doesn't want to say, how did you keep a straight face when?
It's been a lot of fun. And then we follow up, you know, we do our 7 p.m. shows on Friday nights, and then we followed up with an 8 p.m. show with either McGraw Zoo's improv troupe. They've been doing, it's a 4-person troupe. They've been doing live improv shows where audience members can suggest words from the audience, the virtual audience, and they do some long form improv. And then we've had 2 performances of Spaceys, which is an old time radio serial space adventure. That's kind of fun and calming. It's written by local actors. Frank Roberts and Paul Richter have both written the last 2 that we've done with a cast of 5. And it's been a delight to have that old time radio feel on our virtual airwaves, virtual stage also.
Yeah, absolutely. So we have talked about the remodel throughout this past year. So will it be able to happen? Give us an update here.
We, last night, our board met with our contractor and finalized most of the paperwork to begin the remodel project mid-June. So we will start our auditorium remodel finally at long last. It's kind of poetic that it's this time that we're able to do it because we aren't able to produce anything on stage. So what better time than to go and make it a beautiful auditorium for our patrons to return to next time we're safely able to do so.
So kind of walk us through here mentally, what will it look like when we come back to TLT after the remodel?
So we're ripping out the entire seating chart along with the floor that the seating chart's on. So the entire rake disappears and we're building a new rake, which means the slope of the seats. And instead of having the people sitting up against the walls like they do now, where we have the 2 aisles, we're now going to have 3 aisles, one on the outside, a seating section, one in the middle, and then another seating section, and then another aisle on the outside wall. So nobody's up against the wall. Everything is on a radius. So you're no longer all facing straight forward in front of the person in front of you. You're now staggered and it's all curved. So your focal point is the middle of the stage. We lose some seats in the process, but we're okay with that because we know that we'll just add more performances if we have to. But our primary goal in the project was making sure that our audiences felt comfortable. And what's happening too is the back wall of the auditorium, you'll know this, Amanda, because you used to be here, that back wall is going away and it's actually extending up into the upper lobby all the way to the actual wall of the building. So that helps us with that slope. We'll do some cosmetic things in the lobby, but it's not getting a major overhaul yet. That's going to come a little bit later when we attack the bathrooms and everything like that. But it'll get some new carpet and a paint job in the lobby. But the auditorium is just going to be totally new inside and just a very welcoming environment. We're excited about it and can't wait to debut it with whatever show we have.
In addition to the tagline, the oldest theater west of the Mississippi, now you have to add on, not a bad seat in the house.
There is not going to be, and so it's
That is incredible. So let's talk about what next season will look like, because we're all wanting to have things in the future to hope for.
So it is our hope, like I said earlier, fingers crossed, we can start producing in the fall. And a lot of that's going to depend on what we see coming out in the next few weeks and months. If we have to pivot, I'll use your word that you threw out there. If we have to pivot, we have some exciting plans on how we can bring some new programming and some programming that might have been missed this year to our stages as we're determining how to best launch our season. but it's something we ask for people's patience as we figure this out. We're in the same situation that everybody else is, and we're still maneuvering this and learning how it's going to be to produce theater, because this is the, I'll say business, but this is the thing that really, when you look at businesses and retail and restaurants and everything like that, it's very easy and cut and dry. We're a little bit different because the entire nature of us is to be close proximity. So if you have to physical distance actors on stage, how's that going to work? If you have an intimate love scene where people are supposed to be kissing and they have to be 6 feet apart, that's not going to work too well. If you're doing a chorus line, you have to have physical distancing of 6 feet. You're going to be performing in the football field at Jason Lee to make it so that everybody can fit on stage. So it's a lot of learning new things. We may look at doing some smaller shows with smaller casts until we're able to come back to full capacity.
Okay, so not that I have any power to vote, but when you said bring things back, my brain went, please bring back chorus line. It didn't, Chris, you confided in me when you were just starting to look at the licensing. And I have been wanting this to be on stage for so long. So that's all I'm going to say.
I'll do another fingers crossed. We have not taken down that set. It's still on stage, and we're actually going to build around it when we're doing the remodel. So we want to bring that one back.
Okay, so last question. What can people do to help Tacoma Little Theater in the meantime?
Remember us. While we may not have live things happening right now, don't forget we're here. If you are able to help, we'd love your help. And that's in any way, shape, or form. If it's financially, we will never say no. We are a nonprofit organization. We can give you a tax donation letter for that. If it's just to call and see how we're doing, we'd love to talk to you. If you're bored at your home, give us a call. We're still here manning the phones during our normal business hours. If it's a resource thing, we're getting ready to go into a remodel. If you have resources you think might be valuable for the remodel, or you're a skilled tradesperson or know somebody who might be able to help us, give us a call or email us, and we'll be glad to talk with you about how that can happen.
I love that. And lastly, because Tacoma Little Theater is a synonym for family, how is your team doing?
We're doing well. It's been a tough road. We did, thankfully, we didn't get the payroll production program the first round, but we did get it the second. So we're starting to bring staff back slowly because, as you know, there's not much to do right now because but once the remodel project kicks up, we're going to be seeing all of our staff come back to us, and it'll be great to see those faces instead of through Zoom, because we do still talk to each other and see each other occasionally. But we can't wait to have them back here because, TLT is more than just a building. It's the people who are in that building. And I couldn't ask for better people to work for and work with.
It's true. And I can't wait to have you back on the comfy couch. But until then, I'll take you once a month zooming into my kitchen. How's that?
I love the beautiful backdrop also.
Thank you very much. Chris, please take care of you and yours and your team. And I just can't thank you enough, because you didn't slow down. You just went, okay, we're just going to perform in a different way. So your love of learning and creativity is a bright spot as we wait for COVID to tell us what to do. So thank you so much, Chris.
Thank you, Amanda, and your team for having us here.
My pleasure. Well, that wraps up another great segment of CityLine. It's always a pleasure and privilege to Zoom from my kitchen into your home. Boy, things got real heavy and real rough this last week. So what I want to say to you is, please take care of yourself. Find time to disconnect. Find time to spend with those that you love. And above all, take care of yourself. Breathe in kindness and breathe out love. And we'll see you next time on CityLine. Take care.
Tacoma, that's my home, yeah, Tacoma, that's my home. Tacoma, that's my home, place I call my own. Tacoma, that's my home, yeah, Tacoma, that's my home. Oh, you're from Seattle, oh, you're from LA, oh, you're from Chicago, but Tacoma's where you'll stay. Oh, you're from Seattle, oh, you're from LA, oh, you're from Tacoma's where you'll stay, yeah. Tacoma, that's my home. From the fires to the loam. Tacoma, that's my home, yeah. Tacoma, that's my home.